Hello, 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 everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Fiber Strike 95. Welcome back to our National Park series today, our first National Park stream in a while. And today we're here in beautiful Wyoming here today, or more specifically at Shively Airport today. And we're here to do our ninth National Park on this series today. We're going to be covering Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado. It's actually one of our nation's most visited national parks, with over 4 million visitors. But this beautiful national park is featuring some stunning mountain scenery, alpine lakes, and various wildlife in multiple climates and environments. Of course, this national park has been around since 1915, and it's one of the most well-known national parks in the country. So, we're going to be checking out this national park for its beautiful scenery, and we're going to be exploring the history and more of this park. So before we get started, I do want to say hello to everyone in chat and the mods. Good to have you guys here. So here is our flight plan for this morning's stream. Let me get a nav map up. So we'll be starting here at Shively Airport. Then from there we'll visit we'll be visiting Medicine Bow National Forest here in Wyoming. So we'll fly over the mountain for a bit and check out Medicine Bow Route National Forest. From there, we'll head up to our first stop here at Crystal Lakes Airport, 25 Charlie Oscar. So we'll make a landing here. Then from there, we'll head over into and start visiting the national park. We'll go to East Park, Colorado. If you guys don't know, this is where The Shining was filmed here at East Park. More specifically, they did the filming of The Shining here at the city's famous hotel. Then from here we'll head east. We'll go through Beaver Meadows, and we'll visit through quite a few of the mountains. We'll be going through Sundance Mountain, and we'll head our way south. We'll fly around quite a few of the mountains here, and we'll make a landing near Bear Lake. We'll go through Bear Lake and Emerald Lake as our alpine landing sites. We'll do a bush landing around Bear Lake. Then we'll continue south, flying through Long's Peak. And make our way south. We'll be doing some more landings here too. We'll make our second full stop at Charlie Oscar 707 at Antelope Valley, and then we'll cross over the peaks and make our way through to Lake Granby and then cross through the mountains again from the other side. Then we'll go through here, we'll turn left, and make our last stop here at Walden Jackson Airport. So that is going to be our flight for today. We're going to be exploring Rocky Mountain National Park. Should be an absolutely stunning flight here today. So should be a stunning scenery of a flight today. So let's go ahead and get this started. We're in the Savage Norton today. I thought this would be a great plane to take on today's flight. So there you go, guys. We're fine. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. That was my dad. Go ahead and make our way over to the national park. Go over. We're going to head over to our next national park thing. We're going to head over to Medicine Row. So we're going to climb up to, we're going to climb up to 13,000 feet for the first part of the leg. So we're going. Let's go ahead and climb up to 15,000 feet. So we're going to go ahead and climb up to 13,000 feet. So we're going to climb up to 15,000 feet for this first part of the stream. So today we're going to be covering our national park series. This is Rocky Mountain National Park. We'll be flying over here today. So Rocky Mountain National Park is located in U.S., located 55 miles northwest of Denver in north central Colorado, within the Front Range of the Rocky Mountains. The park is situated between Estes Park to the east and Grand Lake to the west, and the eastern western slopes of the Continental Divide run directly through the center of the park. The main features of this park include mountains, alpine lakes, and a wide variety of wildlife within various climates and environments. The Rocky Mountain Park Act was signed by President Woodrow Wilson back in 1915, establishing park boundaries and protecting the area for future generations. UNESCO put this as park as one of the first World Biosphere Reserves. In 2023, 4.1 million recreation visitors have entered the park, and it's one of the most visited parks in the country. There are 5 visitor centers throughout the park, including Beaver Meadows as well, but a couple of other places. But this national park is definitely a really cool area, the U.S. National Park System. So, the history of this national park, and the history of Rocky Mountain National Park is quite an interesting one. Paleo-Indian visitors have been visiting this area for the last 11,000 years, including the Lindenmeyer and Dent sites, where they found projectile points that were used to hunt mammoths and bison. Between 1000 to 1300 AD, the people moved into the Rocky Mountain Western Slope areas of the Colorado, perhaps from the Great Basin of Utah. The Utes, who were hunter-gatherers, traveled along the Ute Trail, and their belongings were carried by the Utes pulled by dogs. And they mainly used this area during the summer months and Est Park during the winter. And they mainly hunted bison, elk, bighorn sheep, jackrabbit, antelope, deer, berries, and roots. And when food was scarce, they ate tree bark. Of course, in the 1800s, the Arapaho tribes had pushed the Utes out of Est Park. Of course, in the 1800s, the Arapaho tribe entered the Rocky Mountain region of Colorado. At first, they sought lodgepole pines for their teepees. Then they spent more time in Est Park and surrounding areas, and they also pressed for access to North Park, Middle Park, and South Park areas, which were controlled by the Utes. And this led to various battles between the Utes and the Arapahos as well. Of course, little has been recorded of European involvement of this area, and who might have seen or visited Rocky Mountain National Park area before the 19th centuries. French fur trappers did visit this area during the 1700s and gave Native American farms for trade. And American fur trappers have also came around this area in the early 19th century, but were seen as trespassers. However, the first major expedition to this region occurred in 1819 by Stephen Harriman Long of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. He was engaged by President Madison to lead an expedition to the western frontier to document the topography, fauna, and flora of the region. And the expedition team moved northwestward across the plains and ultimately saw the highest peak of Rocky Mountain National Park. He discovered Long Peak. Rufus B.C. also traveled to this area in 1843, becoming the first man, what was described to be the first white man to enter Est Park. And of course, Joel Est also made his way over too. Him and his son Milton discovered land where no signs of white men have ever been before. And he ultimately built a new town in the area called Est Park, which is named after him, of course. And Est Park became a well-known tourist town. Fire and other event writers have came to this area and began their published accounts of the efforts to visit for its hunting, fishing, scenery, and eventually they helped develop the movement to build this thing as a national park. And eventually happened in 1915 due to combined efforts of multiple groups. A bill passed in Congress and eventually was signed in 1950 on January 16, 1950, and a formal dedication happened in September 4th. 1920 saw a major boom in building lodges and more throughout the park, culminating with the construction of Trail Ridge Road to Fall Rivers Pass between 1929 and 1932, and then to Grand Lake in 1908. Rocky Mountain National Park, on September 13th, both the park and town Estes Park were heavily damaged by a 500-year rain event. The park was closed to visitors between September 12th to 19th, 2013. All roads were leading to the park were also closed for several days to several weeks. So, definitely some important stuff at the national park. So that covers about our history of the national park. That covers a bit about the history of Rocky Mountain National Park. So we're about to head over to Medicine Bow National Forest. So that's what's coming up next. we're basically coming over Medicine Bow National Forest. Medicine Bow National Forest manages over 2 million square acres of area in Wyoming, Colorado. It was once 3 separate areas, which was Medicine Bow National Forest, Root National Forest, and Thunder Base National Grassland, though they were combined in 1995. One unique thing about this national forest is home to the peak of Medicine Bow Peak at 12,000 feet. And of course, this area is very well known for hiking. Pretty cool area. So we're gonna continue to make our way south over to Medicine Bow Peak. So I hope you guys have had a good weekend so far here. Enjoying your time this weekend, of course. For me, at least, my weekend's going pretty good. We got some stuff set up here today. We got the I got my TV set up today. My new 55-inch TV got set up today, and then we're going, and that's what I did mainly today. So, but yeah, very cool national forest, of course. So we're going to be going. So we'll be paying a visit here. We'll fly over Medicine Bow. Because a lot of the stuff's covered in snow this time of year because it's getting into the winter. So we're gonna probably do a little bit of a landing for a bit, fly around this area for a bit. So then from there we'll turn left and we'll talk about the geography of the national park and talk about some more about Rocky Mountain National Park here. So we'll make it our way here pretty soon. So here it is, guys, Medicine Bow National Forest. Let me just show you what this place looks like at other times of the year. It's pretty scenic. I'll take a picture of this. Beautiful mountain scenery here today. We're going to go ahead and descend down to 12,000 feet. We're going to go down to 12,000, but this is Medicine Bow National Forest, by the way. And there is Medicine Bow Peak, which is the tallest peak of this national forest. It's pretty scenic, if you ask me. It's gorgeous from up here. So, for next week's streams, of course, next week, when our 10th national park, we're about to complete part 1 of the series. We will be doing Hawaii Volcanoes National Park in the Big Island. That will be for our next national park stream, covering Big National Park of Hawaii Volcanoes. And then for next Friday, we'll also be doing another game day flight, our first ice hockey match of the series, as we're going to be going down from Montreal to Toronto for the Canadiens versus Maple Leafs game in Toronto. Should be really cool, though, to talk about an ice hockey game in the series. Haven't really done before. It's a new type of game we never really done in this. Should be a really enjoyable one for you guys. And yes, I have already got the notes for it ready, so I'll be ready to post them whenever we get ready. So we're going to continue on our way down to Crystal Lakes. So let's talk about more about the national park here for a bit. So let's start with our national park geography lesson today. So the geography of Rocky Mountain National Park, it encompasses around 265,000 acres of land, with an additional 253,000 acres of U.S. Forest Service. Of course, the Continental Divide generally runs north to south down the park, but there is a geographical anomaly found at the slope of the Never Summer Mountains, where the Continental Divide forms a horseshoe for about 6 miles, heading north to south to north, but then curves sharply southward and westward. This sharp bend results in streams on the eastern slopes join the headwaters of the Colorado River. And of course, the headwaters of the Colorado River are actually in the northwest region of the park. Of course, this national park is among the highest in the nation, with elevations ranging from 7,800 feet, 14,259 feet. The highest point is Long's Peak, which we will be making a landing here as well. We'll definitely make a landing at Long's Peak. We'll make a landing at the tallest point of the national park today. So, really cool stuff, but there's also a lot of other really high peaks. Hogs Peak, Mummy Mountain, Fairchild Mountain, and Mount Chiquia. You can also find several small glaciers and permanent snowfields across the park, and a couple other mountain paths can be found here at the park. Wow. One other interesting thing about Rocky Mountain National Park is the 5 geographical zones of the park. There are 5 of them in the park. The 5 geographical zones in this park are the region are 5 different regions. Region 1 is known for moose and big metals, located in the west or Grand Lake, 30 miles from the Congo Divide Scenic National Trail, and passes through alpine trail and scenery. Region 2 is the alpine region of the park, known for its accessible trails and high elevations, accurate vistas. Then you have Region 3 is Wilderness Escape, located in the northern part of the park. Through S Park is known for its wilderness. Region 4 is the heart of the park with easy road trail access, great views, and lake hikes. They are the most popular trails at the park. And Region 5, known for its waterfalls backcountry, is located south of S Park, and it contains the iconic 14er Longs Peak. The Wild Basin area are also the most beautiful peaks in this part of the national park. So that's definitely a pretty cool thing to cover here for our national parks as well. So really cool stuff. We'll go through this area again a little bit. So definitely some pretty cool stuff. This upcoming week, of course, of streams, Murphy's gonna be back on Monday. He'll be doing another part of his Napoleon stream, the rise and fall of Napoleon Bonaparte. He'll be doing Atom, Brienne, and Paris, where he's going to be going Monday from. So he'll be doing more of in France. So pretty cool stuff he's going to be doing in as well. Should be a really fun flight, of course, for one of his. So we'll continue on south. We'll go ahead and cover the next part of our slideshow here this morning. So let's talk about the geology of this national park. So how did this national park even get formed, the geology? Well, much of the core of the rock that was formed here for the park was Precambrian metamorphic rock, which was produced around 4 billion years ago. 4.5 to a billion years ago formed much of the scenery here at the park. During the Paleozoic era, North America was submerged beneath a shallow sea, and with seabed composed of limestone and dolomite compounds many kilometers thick. Of course, about 300 million years ago, the land was uplifted by creating the ancestral Rocky Mountains, which was later the base for the real one that's going to be created much later. So, pretty important stuff going on. And about 68 million years ago, the Front Range began to rise again due to the Laurentide orogeny in the west. During the Cenozoic era, a block uplift created what is now the present-day Rocky Mountains here at the park. Of course, one of the interesting, there are some glacier stuff that was also been formed in the park as well, which with many of the park's glaciers. Of course, you can find the most notable ones at Andrews Glacier, the most well-known glacier here at the park. So that's definitely some really interesting stuff here to cover here. Of course, afterward is the ecology of the park. Rocky Mountain National Park has quite a wide range of scenery between alpine tundra, conifer forest, Douglas fir, and more. Colorado itself as a state has some of the most diverse plant animal environments in the country due to the drastic temperature differences from various elevation levels and topography. In dry climates, temperature drops 5.4 degrees Fahrenheit with each 1,000-foot increase. Most of Colorado is semi-arid, with the mountain receiving the greatest precipitation to date. Of course, there are 4 ecological zones here in the park: montane, subalpine, alpine tundra, and riparian. The riparian occurs basically in all 3 other zones as well. And of course, due to the importance of preserving the park's natural environment, the area does suffer air pollution from the Front Range, especially if it comes from the city of Denver. But each of the 3 different zones here at the park are different. So the 4 ecosystems, the riparian, the montane zone is the lowest elevation to the montane, which occurs 5,600 to 8,500 feet, where slopes and large mountain valleys support the wide range of plant and animal life, which include montane forests, grasslands, and shrublands with meandering rivers and very well-known building of wildflower. And the montane ecosystem is home to snowshoe hares, coyotes, cougars, beavers, bildews, and Rocky Mountain elk. Then you have the subalpine zone, which is around from 9,000 to 11,000 feet, is subalpine, with forests of fir and Edelman spruce covering the mountainside. Then you have alpine tundra, which is above 11,000 feet. Trees disappear, and alpine tundra takes over. Plant growth is quite limited. Only a few plants can survive, mostly perennials. And mainly it's home quite a few animals, like pikas, badgers, snowshoe hares can visit here too, and all that. So that's kind of been the ecological zones of this park, the 4 major zones to cover here in the national. In terms of wildlife, of course, there is a lot of wildlife here at the national park. In fact, it's home to many species of animals, including 70 different species of mammals and almost 300 species of birds. And thanks to the varying topography, creating a wide range of habitats. However, some species were extirpated from the park, most notably the gray wolf, wolverine, grizzly bear, and American bison. Now, moose are commonly seen in the park. However, they are not historically reported to be part of this area. Most notable species is elk. In fact, during the summer, it's home to some 2,000, 3,000 elk in the summer. And due to the lack of predators like wolves, the National Park Service culls around 50 elk each winter. Overgrazed by elk has become a major problem in riparian areas. So much that the National Park Service has to fence them out to allow willows and aspens groves, and seems to be working. Other ungulates that also exist include bighorn sheep and mule deer. Bison were eliminated in the park in the 1800s, as well as were pronghorn moose. Moose are now frequently seen in the park. The park is home to many predatory animals like Canadian lynx, bobcats, cougar, black bear, and coyotes. However, wolves and grizzly bears were extirpated in the 1900s. Most of these predators kill live small animals, though mountain lions and coyotes do kill deer and occasionally elk. There are around only 24 to 35 black bears at the park. So there are not too many of the predators here at the park. A lot more of the smaller stuff. So that is basically some of the wildlife stuff. We'll cover the rest of the other stuff in the next leg. So, some pretty cool stuff here for the national park. So, can't wait to explore the rest of the national park. Should be a lot of So, so that's where we're going here today, of course. Speaking about our game day fight, by the way, the game that happened on Friday, what we did on Friday, which is Ohio State Michigan, happened yesterday, and it wasn't close. Ohio State completely dominated the Wolverines at Ann Arbor. It wasn't really that much of a contest. Michigan absolutely got decimated by an extremely talented Ohio State squad. So Ohio State is going to be playing once again in the Big Ten Championship against Indiana. Oh, big matchup for Ohio State, of course, a big win for the Buckeyes. Definitely a much needed win. So that's basically the big stuff going on here. So definitely some pretty big stuff going on here as well. Right now we got the El Grande Derby also on as well. That was the other candidate for Friday's flights. So should be a really interesting one. I hope we do it sometime in the future, of course. So should be pretty good. So should be a lot of fun here today. So should be a really good game though going on in Seville. Yeah. Be important. So we're not very far from our first stop here at Crystal Lakes. Should be arriving here very shortly. So get ready for this very shortly. So we're going to go ahead and get ready for our first landing of the day here at Crystal Lakes. So by the way, guys, here's the link for the official site of Rocky Mountain National Park here in Colorado. Let me go ahead and post it in the chat for you guys. Let me go ahead and pin the comment for you. So you guys now can pin comment. So this is the national park link for Rocky Mountain National Park. Absolutely gorgeous place. It gives you all the information here at the park. So we're about to make our first landing. Here we go, guys. Our first stop should be very here shortly. Here at Rocky Mountain National Park. Gorgeous trip here this morning. So we're going to go ahead and make, here's our airport very soon. I think our airport's coming up once we cross the mountain. And we'll make our landing here. We're about 158 nautical miles to the end of this stream. So until we reach our final destination at 33 Victor. We're going to go ahead and turn off the autopilot here. As we're going to make our descent down. I think that's our airport down here. Head in and descend down to the valley peak. Should be a very scenic landing here this morning. Go. About to make the landing here this morning. Here we go, Crystal Lakes. And we're down. Fantastic, everyone. Beautiful, beautiful bush trip here in the mountains, of course. Just not outside of the park. I think this is absolutely gorgeous here. Just a gorgeous landing site. We'll be here for just a little bit until we get ready for the next flight. So big stuff going on for sure. So we'll be getting right up and going pretty soon. So we're gonna get ready for the next leg. Our next leg, the first part, will climb up to 12,000 feet for the first part of the new leg. So we'll be 160 degrees. So we're gonna go ahead and get ready for the second leg of the trip. $12,000 feet. So we're gonna make our way down over to S Park. So the last major slot before we talk about some of the stuff here is going to be the recreational activities here at the park. So Rocky Mountain National Park has 4 main entrances: 3 near East S Park, 1 in the west near Alpine Grand Lake, and 3 million people visit the park. And in address crowding, park implemented time entries in 2020. Trail Ridge Road also connects the west side of the park. We'll talk about Trail Ridge Road. With the summit around 12,000 feet, though the park is closed due to heavy snow. The park has a network of trails, most are used for summer only. Fishing is permitted in many of the lake, park, and streams. And the park has network trails that range from paved paths to streams, mountain trails for experienced conditioned hikers. Rock climbing and mountaineering opportunities are all throughout the park. Keyhole routes the easiest for rock climbing, and winter activities also include snowshoeing and cross-country skiing, which are possible from either the S Park or Grand Lake entrances to the park. So plenty of recreational opportunities here at the National Park. So pretty cool stuff. So that will cover a bit about so basically that will cover us for practically the entire park, of course. Gonna climb up to nearly 12,000. So we're going to continue on forward, talk about, so we'll get through to S Park. So S Park will be where we're going to be flying over next. Now, I don't have a slide for that, but S Park, this town, population of 5,904 people. This is a very popular resort in the location of the headquarters for the national park. There are several important landmarks, most notably the Stanley Hotel and the Ballplate Inn. And it overlooks Lake Estes and the Olympus Dam that's built in the park. But of course, the most interesting thing about this town is the Stanley Hotel, built back in 1909. Feature a lot of overnight accommodations to for guests to this day, offering a broad range of activities and events, including daily history and ghost tours at the hotel. And of course, the Stanley Hotel was also very popular as a filming location. This was where The Shining was filmed. Even King and Tabitha spent one night in the Stanley Hotel, and eventually it helped inspire his famous novel, The Shining. And it became one of the great successes of Stephen King's career. And it was actually used, it was actually filmed around this area. So, pretty cool stuff here at the park. So we'll be paying a visit here pretty shortly. Then from there we'll cover about Bear Lake. We'll be covering that pretty soon when we arrive. So we're going to be heading over to S Park. So that will be, now we're about to enter the national park for the first time. We're finally about to enter the national parks. We're about to cross our way into the park. I'm about to enter the park. So to our left, if you look to our left, we can see Fort Collins, Colorado. To our left, this is the home of Colorado State University, the Rams. They play at Fort Collins. We're also not that far outside of Boulder, Colorado, or south. So it should be a really scenic flight for sure. Yes, in terms of trails in the park, the Emerald Lake Trail is considered to be the best trail in the park. Mm, So we're going to cover over Bear Lake for a bit before we make our landing. We're going to cover Bear Lake first. So Bear Lake is a scenic trailhead and destination in the Rocky Mountain National Park, sitting around 9,400 feet. Alpine Lake rests beneath the sheer flanks of Hollet Peak in the Conroe Divide. Several trails start here at the lake, from easy strolls to strenuous hikes. Bear Lake Road is open year-round, though it may temporarily closed due to weather condition. Its ample parking lot is provided close to the lake, and Bear Lake Road is around 10 miles long and starts at Beaver Meadows entrance at the national park. So definitely pretty cool, and this is where we're going to be visiting pretty soon. We'll make a stop at Bear Lake too, but I'm also going to try and fly over Emerald Lake as well. We might have a stop at Emerald Lake, and then take some pictures of Bear Lake too. We'll do a stop there as well, so pretty nice. And the lake itself was actually formed during the Ice Age. By a big chunk of ice, several moraines can be found downhill of Bear Lake throughout the area. So we're going to turn left here very soon at S Park. We're going to turn west pretty soon. Here it is, guys. We finally made it to S Park here in the national park. Here it is, guys. Our scenery here this morning, of course. So this here is S Park, by the way, one of the major resort areas here in the park. I'm gonna turn right pretty soon. Oh, this is Prospect Mountain, by the way. We just turned, so this is S Park. Finally into the major region here, park. Yeah, we're trying to keep on eyes on our games today for our sports stuff this week. The Premier League happened. Manchester United won, and Liverpool just beat West Ham. We're going to continue here. We're going to head on. This is the Hidden Valley area. One of the other areas here at the park. The scenery here is just stunning this time of year. Let's look at see what other parts of the park look like in other times of year. That's pretty interesting. Pretty cool stuff here at the park. We're gonna climb up here to 12,500. Then we'll turn left and we'll make a visit to Emerald Lake and Bear Lake. So we'll be paying two of the Alpine Lakes. Emerald Lake in particular is actually the most popular trail at the park. Is the trail to Emerald Lake. You'll be going through from Bear Lake, but instead of going through Bear Lake, you actually head south through the trailhead through Dream Lake and up to the Emerald Lake. But the Bear Lake Loop is also still really popular here too. All this is part of Trail Ridge Road, by the way. So this is all part of Trail Ridge Road. Yeah, this kind of looks like what the national park looks like without the snow. Looks absolutely stunning, though. This is through the mountain pass, of course. Absolutely stunning. Beautiful scenery this morning. The Rocky Mountain National Park has some amazing scenery here. Just like a glacier. Some beautiful mountainside scenery, of course, this morning. So we're going to make a visit to Emerald Lake. And we'll make a stop at Emerald Lake and Bear Lake, depending on which one you guys want me to stop on. Go over which one you guys would want to do. Beautiful flight here this morning. So Emerald Lake is actually technically the most popular one of the park. Rocky Mountain National Park has some really great amount of trails. Some of the other most popular include the Sky Pond, which is an 8-mile hike round trip. But Sky Pond is a very hard trail because it goes through Glacier Gorge, but doing that will get you treated to some of the best views in the park. Like high up, Gem Lake Trail, Dream Lake Trail are all very popular ones. Again, multiple really great. We're going to go ahead and turn off our autopilot. But yeah, some absolutely crazy mountain peaks this morning. Emerald Lake is actually down. To our left is Emerald Lake. Look at the crazy mountainside. Oh, really tough landing here this morning. Let's make a landing through Emerald Lake, and then we'll all take a pic as we fly out of the lake. Emerald Lake. Go make our first bush landing this morning. Ah, fuck. So this is Emerald Lake, by the way. Yeah, imagine this. This is Emerald Lake, a view up from Emerald Lake at the peak. So this is Emerald Lake, by the way. Absolutely stunning lake, of course. Absolutely stunning. Of course. Alright, I'm just gonna push it away. There we go. Stunning mountain view for sure. Absolutely gorgeous view of the mountains. Down here is Bear Lake, by the way. This is a very popular part where people like to hike. Bear Lake down below to our left. That's Bear Lake. So our next place we're going to be visiting is the tallest peak at the park, and that is Long's Peak. Long's Peak is the tallest peak in the national park. Long's Peak is the tallest peak of the park, 14,256 feet. It's one of the many 14ers in the state, but it is the tallest one in the park. It was named in honor of the explorer Harriman Long and was featured in the Colorado State Quarter. Long's Peak can be seen from Mount Meeker and from Longmount, Colorado. It's one of the most prominent mountains in the state, rising 9,000 feet along the western edge of the Great Plains. And along with Mount Meeker, it's sometimes referred to as the Twin Peaks here in the state. Technically, it's actually Colorado's 13th highest peak, or some of the ones taller in the state. But of course, not many can say that they're the biggest peak in Colorado. So we will be landing another bush landing here at Long's Peak. We'll make a landing here at Long's Peak and see the view from the tallest peak at the park. Climb up here as well. Here we go, Long's Peak. We're gonna finally climb our way to the very top. Up, up, and we're going to the top of the. So this here is the view from Colorado's Longs Peak. We have done. This here is Long Peaks. This is the view of Colorado from the peak. This is the highest peak in the national park. That is a very impressive view, if you ask me. From over here, it's the S Park. We might even see it at Fort Collins. Moved towards the south. You see more of the mountains here in the state. But yeah, very impressive peak, if you ask me. Gorgeous view. Here at Longs Peak. That is Longs Peak, the tallest peak of the national. So let's go ahead and continue on to the next leg of the streams. Go ahead and continue down 160 degrees, of course. And we'll be, and altitude is going to be 15,000 feet after fly. Holy, and we're here we go, guys. We're climbing at 15,000. We'll fly around the mountain ranges here. This part of the national park. Here's across the rest of the mountain ranges here in the park. Fly along this side of the park for a bit. And we'll be making our way down to our second full stop at probably Oscar 7. So we'll be making that our second official stop at the park. Hitting there soon. So we're going to continue down here to our left stop. We'll turn briefly to 154 degrees, make our way down over to the national park, of course. Of course, this is actually the second of the 4 national parks here in the state. The 3 other ones, we visited Mesa Verde already, which was actually the first national park in Colorado. And the other ones we visited, then the next Colorado park we'll be visiting is going to be, I think Great Sand Dunes is going to be our next Colorado park. Will be and finally, Black Canyon of the Gunnison are the other ones. So we'll be making our way over to 12,500 feet. So and so we're going to head all the way down. So we're going to descend down to 12,000. So we're going to make our way to our second stop, call it Oscar 07. So taking flight over to here, we'll make a quick landing over here to complete the second landing of the day. So pretty important stuff going on as well. So here it is, guys. Crawdad 35 and E1 here. Hello there, Crawdad. H500. I think I see you there, my dude. Welcome on in. Good to see you here, Crawdad. So this here is our second stop of the day. Beautiful place here to make a landing for sure. Get another pretty small airfield, right in the heart of the mountains, of course, of Colorado. Should be a stunning trip, as you guys can tell. So we still have quite a bit left to go, of course, on our trip. 82 nautical miles left to go. So get ready for the last leg. We'll talk about Trail Ridge Road, which would be our last major thing we'll be talking about here at the park. And then we'll wrap everything up. So I hope you guys enjoy the stream. It's been a nice relaxing flight here in Rocky Mountain National Park. Here we go. We're going to climb up to 13,500. Here we go. We're going to climb up to 13,500. Climb through pretty fast. Hey, good to see you, Crawdad. So we're going to be, we've done Rocky Mountain National Park. We explored some of the beautiful here. We got to land at Long's Peak, which is really cool. We got to have an amazing view of the Colorado landscape. We also had a stunning stop at Emerald Lake, which was absolutely gorgeous. So once we've gone 13,500 feet, we're going to descend down to 10,000 feet and we'll go around 10,500 feet through pretty much the rest of the scenery, of course. Before coming back to 11,000 feet, we'll go and stop at Trail Ridge. We'll actually make a stop at Trail Ridge. We'll make one last landing there. Talk about Trail Ridge Road here at the park. Then we'll land, make our way back to 33 Victor. That is what we're doing here for the rest of this trip. here we go. We're gonna make our way down to the park. So we're gonna be in here pretty soon. But yeah, so far stunning national park here in Colorado. Our next national park will be next Sunday. We'll be in actually a much more sunny area without all the snow because we're gonna be in Hawaii. We're gonna be doing Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. We'll be going through some of the peaks in Hawaii, of course. So it should be stunning. And by the way, guys, our next game day flight for Friday is going to be Canadians versus Maple Leafs, our first ice hockey match this series. We'll be flying from Montreal over to Toronto. Should be a really cool flight. Playing NHL history cover for ice hockey fans. I know there's quite a few who might know about ice hockey. So I know some of you guys would probably really enjoy this. We'll turn left here. We're going to go ahead and continue down this way to 10,500. We're now entering into Granby. Okay, we're entering into Granby. So we're entering down to the lower parts of the national park. We'll be visiting here. And are you from this area? No. I'm actually from I am from Indiana, actually. I'm from the Hoosier States. I've just been doing a lot of research in this area, by the way, Crawdad. I've been doing research in this park beforehand. I've been studying these national parks for a bit. So that is what we're doing here. We've just been doing a lot of exploration. I don't think I'm finding a Sasquatch anytime soon. No, I don't think so. So, definitely, I would like to find a Sasquatch, but I don't think anyone's ever found one before. So, so we're going to go through all this as well. Of course, we're getting through this pretty quickly, though. So Granby's to our left, obviously. Coming up here pretty soon. So. Here we go. We should be getting here to the national park pretty soon. So, Granby's to our left, and we should be approaching Lake Granby, a lake reservoir area at the park. It's actually part of the headwaters of the Colorado River, by the way. And apparently this is where the headwaters of the Colorado River are actually at. And basically the Colorado River starts around this area here, and it goes all the way down through from there to down here too. So, pretty cool stuff. Basically, we're going through this area here. So this is Granby to our left, a community here at the park. So once we do that, we're going to talk a bit about Trail Ridge Road. We make our way through the national park. So we're going to go through. About to enter into the last slide for today. That is Trail Ridge Road. But some beautiful lakes, though. In particular. ahead and turn to 60 degrees. This is Grant Lake. Ahead of us is Grant Lake, and next to us below is Lake Granby. So these are definitely some of the other lakes here in this park. Reservoirs are very popular for a lot of water activities here around the park. Important lakes. We're going to climb up to 14,000. 14,000 feet. So that should get us. So our last slide for today is going to be Trail Ridge Road. This will be our last of the slides here at the park. This is the 48-mile stretch of Highway 34 that traverses the national park here. Together with the connecting 6.9-mile Beaver Meadow Road, the Trail Ridge Road forms a 55-mile Trail Ridge Road Scenic Byway, All-American Road, with a high point of 12,183 feet. Trail Ridge Road is the highest continuous paved road in all of North America. The higher portion is closed October to May due to snow. So it starts from the Grand Lake entrance of the park, and Trail Ridge Road follows the North Fork of the Colorado River through Kinawachi Valley. There are several trailheads of the road. It crosses the Conroe Divide at Milner Pass. It reaches an elevation of 12,183 feet. To the highest point, you can find Iceberg Pass. Trail Ridge is a high Flatsburg range between Fall River and Big Thompson River to the north. So basically, Trail Ridge has actually been used by Native Americans in the past, across the mountains between their homelands in the west and hunting areas in the east. Our foe called the trailed Iamba, where the children walked because it was so steep that children could not be carried but had to walk. The Ute trot across the mountains marked their stone with stone cairns. The present park trail falls, particularly the ancient route. So that is a very important road for a lot of people going to the national park. So this is Grand Lake, by the way. This is where the road actually starts. Of course, we're climbing pretty high up, but this is where the Trail Ridge Road actually starts. Take the trail up through Green Mountain Trailway, fly through the curve, and eventually this one reaches to the tallest point in the pass. Trail Ridge is actually the tallest point in the pass, by the way. And then it is a high Flatsburg range, and it is the tallest point in the ridge. But Trail Ridge has got some absolutely insane mountainside views, and we're gonna actually land at Trail Ridge itself for a GA landing. We're gonna do landing here. At Trail Ridge itself, we'll make a landing and that is the tallest overlook viewpoint in the ridge. It's the summit of the road, so we'll make a landing there, take a picture, and then we'll fly our way back to the road. That's going to be what we're doing here at this point, of course. We have one final stop, obviously. So here it is, guys. Trail Ridge should come up soon, and the road. Now, technically, right now the road is closed due to the snow, obviously. But Trail Ridge Road definitely has some really cool viewpoints here as well. So we should be getting them soon. So we're gonna go ahead and make a stop here at Trail Ridge. As you can definitely tell from up here, you can see the famous road. That is Trail Ridge Road for you guys. And yes, this road completely. But yeah, Trail Ridge Road, absolutely stunning road. We're gonna go to the summit of the road, Trail Ridge, so you guys can see the road itself. Here's Trail Ridge itself. We'll make a stop here. So yeah, you guys can see the road down here. This is a very popular, like, for motorists. If you want to ride through the park, take a view of the road. Thankfully, the nice thing is this area is flat and it's got not feeling my grief. At least for stuff. So this here is Trail Ridge. This is Trail Ridge here. You guys can see this is the tallest point of the summit of the road. So Yeah, you can see down the mountain valleys down below, which is cool. I think I got a better view of the trail. Yeah, this here is Trail Ridge. See a bit of the road down here too. That is the road that connects to the national park. It's an absolutely gorgeous road, and if you ever get to watch the videos for it, it's interesting as well how they built this. Going through the mountains back in the 20s. Very, very nice area. Let's go ahead and get back to the plane, and let's go ahead and fly back home. Go ahead and fly back home to. Yeah, you guys can see down the road. Yeah, this is Trail Ridge Road. Carved right in the side of the mountain. At the road. So that concludes the guys. That concludes all the notes and information here about our national park for today. So we'll be really thoughts. Thank you, Typhon. Thanks, Typhon. Stupid bots. Why do I have stupid bots on these streams? You know I don't like them. I bet a lot of us don't like them either. That definitely irritates me for sure. Or knows how irritated I am with bots. We're going to descend down to 9,500 feet as we make our way to our last stop at 33 Victor. That will be our last stop of the day. So here we go, guys. We're going to descend down 9,500 feet. So we're going to descend down and visit State Forest State Park. To our right is State Forest State Park. That's to our right. You can find South Rawa Peak, which is the tallest peak of the park. Heading down over 33 Victor. And then we'll head down, land there for the right to end our stream. Here we go, 9,500 feet. Now, pretty interesting match. So apparently, I've been keeping track of some of the scores for the other sports. Yeah, apparently the Sevilla Derby just got suspended. Police presence happened. Apparently, salty Sevilla FC fans kind of threw down the pitch. It was very salty. So, beautiful stuff going on here as well. We're going to get ready for the last leg of it. We're right here at, so this here above us, Meadow Creek is reservoir. Where we're at. But beautiful mountainside views here. Absolutely stunning. We had a great time at the park. Now going to make our final landing, of course. Let's make our landing and we'll exit the stream and we'll have a good rest of the day, of course. So we'll see you all pretty soon for next week. But yeah, Rocky Mountain National Park, great park, absolutely stunning place as well. And I hope the next Sunday's National Park in Hawaii should be just as stunning, though. Hey, Ron Dog, good to see you, Ron. I hope you're doing well. We're just about to end our stream very soon. We're about to make our final stop at Walden-Jackson County Airport. We have explored Rocky Mountain National Park. We started in Chivley, Wyoming, near Saratoga, Wyoming. We made our way through Medicine Bow National Forest. Then, once we had a landing at Crystal Lakes, we moved down and explored Rocky Mountain National Park and explored all across the national park. A lot of fun, beautiful scenery. To be, yeah, I know it's been a long time since I've seen it, and thank you for the kind words. I did have a great Thanksgiving with family and friends. Very excited as well. Yeah, it is definitely beautiful. And of course, this is winter. So, but imagine this during the summer time. During summer, how beautiful this area is. During the spring and summer or fall would be absolutely gorgeous. Our airport's just straight ahead of us to our left, so we're going to go ahead and go on idle, and we'll make our landing. Yeah, it's tundra. It makes sense. We're in the flatter part of it. And plus, this is winter season technically on the ground. So this is what it looks like in September. Yeah, we're in the flat area of the park. So, because we're in the more flatland area of the park, it was one of the few airports I could land safely with when I did the flight planning. Didn't want to land at the same airport twice, so that's why we're landing here today. But I hope you guys enjoyed. It has been a ton of fun. So guys, we're about to make the final land of the day. Here we go. And we're down. Nice. Stop here. And that is it, everyone. Well, and that is the end of the stream, everyone. I hope you guys had a great time here exploring Rocky Mountain National Park. Absolutely gorgeous scenery here today. So, it's been a lot of fun. Hey, good to see you, Ironbacks Rocks. Thank you for flying. No worries, my dude. Welcome on in. I didn't know you were lurking in chat. Good to see you. I really enjoyed this flight. This has been a very stunning flight today in Rocky Mountain National Park. So our next stream will be next Friday. We'll be in Montreal, just outside of Montreal, for the Canadiens versus Maple Leafs, one of the great rivalries in the NHL. Very historic matchup, of course. So make sure you guys enjoy seeing that if you want to learn more about ice hockey. And our next national park series covering the absolutely gorgeous and beautiful Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. So, guys, I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. Take care, everyone, and see you all soon. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great rest of your